Tune in and live right here on Twitter at USC_athletics. The Trojans are coming off a tough loss in Salt Lake City, but there's no time to lick their wounds as every game now has postseason implications in the Pac-12 South, starting with Saturday's battle with Arizona State right down the street at the Coliseum. Head coach Clay Helton and freshman linebacker Paula Nautioti are here to tell us all about it. Plus, fresh off a victory, we will meet the new USC women's golf head coach Justin Silverstein. I am Jordan Moore alongside John Jackson and JJ. Started well on Saturday, but then what happened?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't be happier the way that the start that they got. I mean, Michael Pittman makes a great play to Fele with the scoop and score, and the defense. I thought that it set the Trojans into a frenzy, after that big play, which it should, right? But the thing is, then they came back, and I thought that the penalty for the celebration, and I get it, these kids, I mean, they're kids, they love it, it's a great thing, but the penalty after celebration gave Utah some momentum back, just a little crack, and they took advantage of it.
Yeah, they certainly ran with it. We'll talk to Coach about it right now. We'll count down to kickoff with Mito. Swiss watches since 1918. The official timekeeper of USC Athletics. Be the first to own the Fight On limited edition timepiece. True Trojan fans, visit shopmito.com/USC. That's shopmito, MIDO.com/USC. All right, Coach, big picture. Start with me on the offensive side of the ball. Only 205 yards of offense. What wasn't able to get going on that side of the ball?
Well, we went into that game and was expecting a lot of one-high cover one, which they have showed, and basically came in and said, you know what, let's see if you can run it versus cover two, two high coverages, whether it was cover four, cover two, cover six. And they won the majority of the battles on the one-on-ones. I thought I'd come off and say, well, we missed some assignments the way it fell, but it was really, a one-on-one battle between a guard and interior defensive lineman. There was not a lot of missed assignments anywhere. They just won more of the one-on-one competition than we did.
And when you're in those situations, being a former player like we were, when you lose one-on-one, that hurts even more than if they would messed up assignments or you're confused. What kind of mindset are the kids in now? Because I know they probably can't wait for Saturday to come to make up for what happened last week.
Yeah, we had our first team meeting back today and watched the film and Tell the Truth Monday and showed them. I said, hey, you prepared well. You put yourself in position to make plays. We just didn't make the plays, whether it was 16 missed tackles, whether it was winning those one-on-one blocks, whether it's winning one-on-one routes, whether it's coverage one-on-one. We lost more than we won, and you look up, and that's why it's a two-score difference at the end of the game. They played better than we did, and credit to them. Utah played a good game.
Is that what you think is missing in the run game? Is it at this point, is it just challenging them a little bit and saying, hey, you need to just blow somebody off the football?
Yeah, we challenged them today, and they know. I mean, they're watching on tape, and like I said afterwards, I mean, any of their failures is my responsibility, and I told them that. I said, we're going to coach you extremely hard this week and throughout the rest of the season. We have postseason implications on the line. Yeah. We plan on winning the Pac-12 South and going to a Pac-12 championship, and to do that, we have to get some things fixed this week. Whether it's tackling better, whether it's one-on-one blocking, whether it's getting a little bit more open on routes. It's things that when you look up and you play a really good team on the road, a team that's now in Utah that's won three very impressive games, you can't lose those one-on-one battles in that type of game.
For me, it's about approach, and I know that you know this. With a lot of different teams respond to different types of approaches from you as a head coach and from the coaches. I know you got a consistent approach with us as a media. We thank you for that, by the way. but it's not the same with the players.
No.
The attitude, the response, and how they respond, for how you guys go after them or treat them is different year in and year out. Is this a different team in terms of what's going to take for them to get that kind of response?
I challenged them really hard today.
That's mild of saying
in the team meeting. I reminded them that adversity is life, and you either decide that you're going to fight or you decide to fold, one or the other. And to a man, I asked each and every one of them today in the room, and they were like, Coach, no, we're fighting. They can't wait to get back out there tomorrow. They had a good practice today, very focused practice, and I think they're itching to get to Saturday as fast as humanly possible.
Okay, well, just so you know, the rumor amongst the players is that it's a tough love that you give. It's a true love, but it's a tough love, and so that's what gets the response out of it.
Yeah, no question. I've always believed that when you love somebody, you are brutally honest, and to be coached is to be loved. It's you can't soft shoot things, and so, especially because they'll read falseness. If you tell them the brutal, honest truth, they may not like hearing it, but they'll respect you for it.
Yeah, one person who I think has definitely responded and to me at least, appears to be emerging as a leader of this team on the offensive side of the ball is Michael Pittman Jr. And, we talked to Vi Malapai after the game, and he brought that up on his own. I talked about it on the sideline during the game, the way even late when he blocks that punt, he came over and really tried to energize the sideline. Obviously, he makes a great catch, and he's producing in the game. But what are you seeing him in terms of growing into an offensive leader, something we've talked about all season, that there weren't a lot of veterans on that side of the ball, and maybe they've needed a voice.
Well, he's really stepped up, and it started in practice. And I actually showed a clip in the Colorado game of him. If you remember, I think it was the Arizona game. We had 2 deep balls that just fall short, where they end up being jump ball opportunities, and we don't come down with them. He immediately on Tuesday, it's one-on-one drill. He says, Coach, do me a favor. I need about 4 deep balls right in a row. I want to work on it. I want to dang perfect it. And he worked on it the entire week. And then he goes into Colorado, the same exact situation with two kids on him. High ball's a beautiful ball. Then he does the exact same thing at Utah. So when you get to use those examples of kids, the way you practice is the way you're going to play. And he's brought great energy. He's brought great juice, great leadership, and great productivity. And the kids see it. And he's such an unselfish kid that, not only is he doing it on offense, but he's doing it on special teams too. He blocks a kick, and he trained for that. I would have bet everything I owned that he was going to block a kick on Saturday night. There was no question in my mind, and he got his opportunity and made the most of it.
With these guys, and when you talk about this team as a whole, typically leadership comes from your middle linebacker and your quarterback. That's sort of the typical thing. There's no rule that says that needs to happen. But in this particular case, there are a lot of young guys in those positions. And I know that if I played, Todd Marinovich was a freshman when I played as a senior, and there's no way he could tell me anything except throw me the freaking ball. Right? So the thing is now how do you draw from guys like Michael Pittman or maybe anoint different leaders that aren't in necessarily play the positions of leadership?
It's such a strange mix. I had this question in Monday Morning Quarterback today, and they were like, Coach, tell me, are you young or are you old? I said, it's the most unusual mix because you look at it and you go, all right, there's a senior center in Toa Lomondon, and right behind him's a true freshman quarterback. There's a Marvell Tell on one side and a true freshman Talanoa Fargo on the other. There's a John Houston that's played for 3 years, and then there's an EA standing, a true freshman standing right. So there's this mixture of good experience with true youth, and it's made for a neat dynamic. It's almost like Big Brother, Little Brother, and they're all trying to get there, and they're all like just helping the little brothers get ready and get going. And I credit them, whether it's been Amon-Ra, EA, Talanoa, JT, those kids. You just look out there, and they're doing a great job, and they're learning. They're making some mistakes, but each week they're getting better.
Yeah, some of those little brothers are playing real well. We're going to have one later on in the show. Probably EA will be in the house. USC, Arizona State, 12:30, a day kickoff on Saturday. How about that?
Yes.
I know they still did those in college football. That game will be on ABC, ESPN2, depending on where you're watching. And, of course, USCTrojans.com/tickets will put you right there in the house. We're going to talk defense with the coach next. But first, Trojan fans, here's a deal for you. Right now, when you buy 4 select Cooper tires from a participating dealer, you'll score a voucher good for free tickets to a select Trojan football game during Cooper's annual Buy 4 and Score event. Visit CooperTire.com and find a dealer near you. More Trojans Live to come with Clay Helton next on ESPN LA 710. Fans get 1 free admission to the Ralph's Ultimate Tailgate Experience and select USC football home games this fall when you purchase $35 of participating items at Ralph's. Look for the signs and tags in store. Every $35 you spend gets you 1 admission. And speaking of getting admission to the game, another way that you can get in the house on Saturday is by bringing a fresh pair of sneakers, a cause Coach, I know that is near and dear to your heart.
Yeah, and definitely. My wife, Miss Angela, has started this shoe drive a couple of years ago, and it's great. It's been great. We've raised anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 pair of shoes, and our goal is this year 5,000. And the university has been great to be able to give tickets for new pairs of shoes, and so we hope all the Trojan family will come out and support this great cause. It helps homeless youth in our community, as well as our players go distribute them and feed homeless youth, so they gain that experience of giving back for the entire year, and it's something that we're very proud of, and proud of my wife for getting it started, and something I hope all Trojan fans will help us with.
You know, that's a great cause, Coach, and I've heard a couple stories today, that one being one of them, which will go a long way, and the Trojan fans will support it. But the other one for me was Jan Dyer, who was involved. She was part of a fraternity, head of a fraternity down on the row, and you were presented an award today on behalf of her. Can you tell us her story? Because I think it's a great story.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to meet Jan 2 years ago at a booster function, and get to know her, and she was going through breast cancer and was such a fighter. Just asked her if I could check in on her from time to time, and a text message turned into a phone call that turned into an unbelievable relationship over 2 years. And she became a great friend of our family and became a member of our family. She even helped us feed the homeless and give shoes. And, she lost her battle this past fall, and it's something that I'm so glad to have her in my life, to have that type of relationship. My wife, who I love dearly, has gone through breast cancer and has had a double mastectomy. And knowing Jan, it just reminded me how early detection is so prevalent and so important. And it helped my wife get through it, and my best friend and the love of my life, and to see Jan go through that battle. There's others that don't win that fight, and so this month you'll see me each and every game walk into the stadium in pink tie and a pink shirt, and I'll wear the pink ribbon in honor of Jan, my wife, and everybody that has had to fight that disease, and loved ones that have had to go through that.
Yeah, and this is one of the stories that for people that are watching that I really appreciate the man of Clay Helton, because this was not a story that was told until today. I mean, nobody knew this entire story publicly until today. It's just something he did behind the scenes just because he wanted to do it and because it was important to him.
And Saturday is our breast cancer awareness game, too. So you'll see the song girls with the pink pom-poms out there, and everyone can wear their ribbons as well and represent. To switch us back to football here for a little bit as we get ready for ASU, I did want to talk some defense. It was an interesting game defensively. I don't know, you can disagree, but I felt like they wore down a little bit as that game went on. They were on the field so much as the offense struggled to stay on the field. We came in worrying, how are they going to get in the backfield without Port Augustin? That didn't seem like the problem. It seemed like you were living in the backfield. The issue was you almost left some meat on the bone. You end up with 5 sacks, 8 tackles for loss. That's good. Watching the film, it probably felt like it could have been 8 sacks and 12 tackles for loss or something like that.
Well, I think we're all sick. Players, coaches. I thought it was a terrific game plan that was put together by Clancy, and it was a game plan that was aggressive about getting to the quarterback. And we get 5 sacks. Christian Rector, who we challenged to step up in Porter's role, comes out and has 2 sacks and probably could. And like you said, Coach, I could have had 5. It was just one of those nights that whether it was getting tired or whether we have not missed that many tackles all year. And Huntley is a really good player. Watching him live now and seeing him healthy, very strong kid, very slippery, and created some great plays on the night. And we let him break contain, and he hurt us.
One other thing that was the bad news of the night is JT was hurt, went into concussion protocol. You're hopeful that he'll be able to play, next week. But if he's not, then it looks like it's going to fall on Jack Sears to, take the helmet quarterback and be his first opportunity to play. Obviously, get a chance in front of the Coliseum. Give us a little scouting report on Jack. And, I know him from high school days. Yeah. He's had a lot of success at the high school level, but it's going to be a different thing on Saturday. Yeah,
Jack is a really good quarterback. He was right there in that battle with Matt Fink, JT, and you know we went with JT, and that was a very close race. And just because you know Jack was behind those two doesn't mean he's a bad quarterback. He's actually extremely talented, extremely mobile. He may be the fastest of the three. I know he's faster than Sam. I kid him about that all the time. He's a better athlete than Sam coming out of San Clemente, and he's got a good arm. And the thing that I appreciate most about all three of the quarterbacks, they all prepare like starters, you know. And I was so proud of Matt Fink the other night, because you don't know how heartbreaking it is not to get the job, but then have to regroup and say, you know what, I have to prepare for my brothers each and every week, so when I get my opportunity, I can help. And he goes in there the other night and you know, gets his opportunity, leads us for 2 scores, gets to throw his first touchdown pass of his career, breaks 3 ribs and keeps on going. I mean, I called him last night. I said, buddy, I know you don't know who this person is, but forever you will be known as John Wayne to me, because you were the Duke. You were tough, man.
John Wayne, a great Trojan. Of
yes,
course, he probably doesn't know that either.
Right.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure you said that, because you guys are talking about Jack and JT, and maybe people at home don't realize that Matt, who played very well and would have been in line if JT couldn't go, also can't go because he got rocked on one of those plays and hurt his ribs. What do you do with JT this week? I mean, we watched EA go through concussion protocol last week, and he was ultimately able to play. But is a quarterback different in that if he can't practice, then he can't go? How do you handle that whole situation?
It'll be very similar. You know, it's all as far as the protocol, it's all in the doctor's hands, and so we have to prepare. We have to prepare like Jack's going to be the starter. You know, JT will go through the protocol. He's feeling good. He didn't practice today. He's got to pass each and every stage. And whenever that time is, it'll be. You know, we're not going to reinvent the wheel this week. We're into game 8.
Yeah.
And, you know, we could be playing with Jack as the quarterback. And, you know, so we'll keep it with the things that he knows. And obviously it's the same plays that JT has run in the first 8 games. So if he's capable of doing that, he'll come back. But we have to plan to have Jack ready, and if JT's ready, then we'll be able to use him.
And talk about Arizona State a little bit. You know, one thing about this Arizona State team, they cause defensive problems as well because they're aggressive and guys are coming from all different angles. Do you have, from a coaching staff, do you have to go into this game expecting probably 2 things? What you see from Arizona State on tape, but also because Utah had success against you, you have to prepare and make sure you're ready for that kind of scheme as well.
Yeah, I think it's every time that the Trojans, whoever play them, they come in with a special. It's in 9 years. That's what I've learned is, you know, you have to be great at adjustments in the game because what you see on tape is probably not what you're going to get. It was that way the other night. And, you know, the thing that I appreciate about T, he tried to make the run game go against 2 high coverages, and we lost some battles. You know, this team in Arizona State I've been extremely impressed with on defense. I think the game up at Washington tells the tale of who they are. They're well coached. They're aggressive. They play hard, and they've been in a lot of close games, whether it's at Colorado, at Washington. You know, they've been even Stanford last week. I mean, they've been right in each and every game and just have found a way just to fall short in the end. So we're going to need our best effort in a game that is a very, very important Pac-12 South game for us for our future.
Yeah, finally, we're going to talk to Pauly EA next. Tell us what you've seen from him in the last 2 games as a starter.
My goodness, what a special player. You know, there's some of those guys that just walk on campus and you just know. Marquise Lee, Robert Woods, Nelson Aguilar, Juju Smith. He's one of those guys that have just walked on campus and you go, even the first play, you go, whoa, everybody's gonna know that guy's name. It's hard to pronounce, but if you just say EA, he'll know what it is. But I'm so proud of him. He's done such a great job for our team.
All right, we're gonna talk to EA next. He's coming up on Trojans Live.